Welcome back to Sister Circle Live. Our next guest's political career path has taken her from grassroots activism to presidential campaigns, and she even worked as a former White House staffer for our forever President Barack Obama.
No, that's right.
Right?
She's recently released her debut book, Moving Forward. Please welcome author, beautiful,
yes, she is,
Karine Jean-Pierre.
Yes. Hello, gorgeous woman.
Thank you.
Yes to the yellow.
Thank you.
How are you today?
Be
Oh my
pretty.
God, you're so
thank you
beautiful.
so much. Thank you for having me.
Yes.
Thank you.
Have a seat right
I need
here.
to come here more often
Yes.
and get some love.
All the love.
Oh my goodness.
All the
Thank
love is
you.
down to the circle. Well, we're
Thank
very
you.
happy to have you
Yes,
here
we
today.
are. Thank
Yes,
you.
to learn more about you and get more information on how you've become this amazing woman. So let's start back in your roots, New York's Haitian community. How did that shape you? How did your childhood shape you? And then to kind of catapult into the political scene?
Well, it shaped me in every way possible. I think growing up in New York in an immigrant kind of community, I came in as an immigrant, as you mentioned. Both my parents were from Haiti. There's a lot of pressure, right? Because I think the thing that people need to remember when immigrants come to this country, they're looking for that American dream, and for many of them, it's elusive. My parents worked check to check. My dad was a New York City cab driver. My mom, a home health care aide. I was the oldest of three.
Yeah.
So I was like the third parent. And so I grew up very quickly having to be responsible, and also the pressures of what it meant to be in that community. My parents thought success would be one of three things: doctor, lawyer, engineer. And they wanted me to be a doctor, and that's actually the career path that they wanted. When they found out, like years later, that I was going to go into politics, they were afraid.
Yeah.
They were, because they grew up in a dictatorship. And so for them, politics meant, are you going to be like dead on the corner of the street? Like, they didn't really get that or understood that until I worked for Obama. He won. He became the first African-American president. We went to the White House, and that's when she was like, my parents were like, okay, we get it now.
Right, right.
This is okay.
Yes.
But that's kind of the trajectory that I had there.
Yeah.
Well, talk to us about the point in your life where you were like, you know what? I want to be this activist. I want to be this change maker. There had to be some pivotal moment where you were like, you know what? I'm getting ready to fight for this. This is what I want for myself.
Yeah, so like I said, my parents were not thrilled about being a political activist. And even when I talk a little bit about mental health in my book as well, because when I didn't go for being a doctor, it was really tough. I think it's something that it's so taboo about talking about, especially in our community. So I wanted to talk about that. And then so when I got into politics and they got it, they understood, I really wanted to change policy and change legislation and be part of that kind of change-making space. But it hasn't been until the last 3-4 years that I realized that I wanted to be an activist. And it's basically the result of the 2016 November election. And for me, it energized me even more. I was like, okay, I have to step up. I have to use my platform that I have to really give voice to people who don't have a voice. And that's the essence of the book as well.
Right, right. So why did you decide to even write a book? What was it that you felt like you needed to record?
So the last couple of years, I thought, man, I have a story to tell. I talked about the mental health component of my book, and I talk about what it's like being an immigrant. And so I wanted to write a book about that experience, really kind of correct the record, if you will. And the last 3 years, Black people being attacked, Latinos, immigrants. If I always say, if you are not white, male, straight, or wealthy, you're under attack.
Oh my God.
I mean, there is a target on your back. And so I thought, I want to write something that kind of reflects who we are as a community, and just talk about real issues, but also to galvanize and excite people, because 2020, man, it's like everything is on the line.
Everything is on the line.
You know what you just said was so powerful, what you just said, and the classes that you named, we are the majority.
We are the majority.
We are the majority.
That's right.
And what would be your advice, to the majority, to everyone that you just put in that classification? What would be your advice on galvanizing, on organizing? How can we do it? I mean, we protest, we do different things, but sometimes it doesn't seem to be enough. So for young people, and just for people who always feel like that's never enough, what more can we do?
I'll say this, next year for 2020, we will need a movement to win. Period. It's going to take a movement to get us back on track. And that's the thing that I say, okay, to folks, to young people in particular, what direction do you want this country to go?
Yeah.
What is it that you want? And if you don't get politically involved, it's not going to change. We have to go out, not just vote, everybody should vote. And that's one of the biggest problems we have in America.
Yeah.
It's like people just don't come out and vote.
Yep.
You gotta vote, and you have to galvanize your community, your family, your neighborhood. Everything is going to ride on November 2020.
Yeah.
And I'm just kind of like, do you really want 4 more years of this?
Right.
Really? How much worse is it going to get if you think we get 4 more years of this?
Right.
And it's
We can't.
the urgency of now, the urgency of now.
Yes. What was it like working for Forever?
Forever 44.
Forever.
He's
Forever
Yes.
44.
Yes.
Forever our president. He was just even keel. He was easily the smartest person in the room. He respected the office that he held. He was methodical. It was just a pleasure and honor to work for the President of the United States. I was one of the lucky ones that got to go into the White House, into the administration from the beginning. I was there the first 2 years. And there was just nothing like this president, like President Obama, and we miss him. We miss him terribly.
We definitely were missing
My
him.
goodness, thank you. But
My
we
God.
appreciate
Thank you for having me.
And congratulations on your book.
Thank you. Thank
Come
you.
back anytime.
Oh, I'm going to be tonight. I'm going to be
tonight.
at the National
Atlanta History Center.
I'm in
Yes.
so many places.
Right.
7 p.m. tonight.
That's
that I
right.
forgot.
If you're in the Atlanta area, please make sure you check her out. And please make sure you pick up Moving Forward
Thank you.
wherever fine books are sold.
Yes.
Thank
Awesome.
you.
Give it up for Karine
Yeah,
Jean-Pierre.
come back, Karine.
Oh, I would
and
love
just sit
that.
with us down to the table, girl,
Oh,
and give
I
us
would-
the tea.
All the